Thank you. I want to say thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. So grateful. I'm so grateful. Grateful. So I want to say thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day.
This beautiful day.
This beautiful day.
Oh, thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day.
This healing day.
This healing day.
Oh, thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends.
Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends.
My wonderful friends.
My wonderful friends.
Oh, thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day.
This beautiful day.
This beautiful day.
Oh, say thank you. Oh, y'all sound good. Let me hear you. God is my source. 1, 2, 3. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Let's do peace. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Love gives me everything I need. God gives me everything. God gives me everything I need. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. Yay! I got up this morning singing, God is so good.
Stand up, let's get it rocking. Come on.
I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. 1, 2, 3, 4. this morning singing.
God is so good.
Oh, I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. I'm feeling good down in my soul, yeah, God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul, yes, God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul, yes, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Here we go. Every day and every way,
God is so good.
every day and every way, God is so good. Every day and every way, God is so good. My God is so good to me. And in my time of trial, I know.
God is so good.
In my time of trial, I know.
God is so good.
Hey, in my time of trial, I know God is so good. My God is so good to me. And when my day is over, I know.
God is so good.
When my day is over, I know.
God is so good.
Hey, when my day is over, I know.
God is so good.
My God is so
good.
My God is so, my God is so good to me. All right. Thank you. Please be seated. All right. Well, I hear a lot of kids in here. So the kids, Stephanie, and have a great time.
Good morning, Unity of Music City.
Good morning.
Let's begin this portion of our service by taking a deep, centering breath. Today's centering statement is, every action has a reaction, and every cause has an effect. On the surface, the law of cause and effect appears easy. For every action, there is an equal reaction. For every cause, there is an effect. This law is often also referred to as the law of karma. What we put out into the universe will come back to us. If we do good to others, we will receive good karma in return. If we do bad things, we will receive bad karma in return. We see this daily when it comes to the physical aspects of the world, but have we considered how this law might be applied to the spiritual aspects of our universe? Our spiritual life impacts the world around us, causing positive or negative reactions. The thoughts, behaviors, and actions that have made us who we are today point us in the direction of who we are becoming. Fortunately for us, we have this thing called free will. Because we have free will, we can choose to unlearn the thoughts, behaviors, and actions that don't serve us. Because we have free will, this means that we can also choose to become awake, proactive, and love-centered thinkers. Free choice our circumstances or how dark our predicaments seem, we can learn what it will take to trigger the causes that will create the effects we desire to experience within our lives. When we focus on the good and activate good thoughts and behaviors in our lives, we will see the effect that it brings. Then we realize that the more we focus on expanding our good into the world around us, the more positive change we can create in our relationships and the communities that we are part of. And now please repeat these affirming statements after me. Today is yesterday's effect and tomorrow's cause. Today is yesterday's effect and tomorrow's cause. I use my free will to change my thoughts, behaviors, and actions for good. I use my free will to change my thoughts, behaviors, and actions for goodwill. What I focus on grows. What I think about expands. What I dwell upon determines my destiny. What I focus on grows. What I think about expands. And what I dwell upon determines my destiny. And so it is.
Good morning, Unity of Music City. Thank you so much for being here. I want to welcome everybody who's joining us online. Thank you for bringing your energy here also. I want to take just a moment to remind everybody of our mission, vision, and purpose today. Our mission as Unity of Music City is we create experiences for expanding consciousness and awakening infinite possibilities. Let's breathe into that. Our vision is to remember the universal presence alive in each of us. Take a moment to just breathe into that. And our purpose is we create a sacred space for authentic transformation. Take just a moment to breathe into that. And that's why we're here. That's why you're tuning in online to discover that authentic transformation that we all seek. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your energy. Sherry, do we have any announcements today?
We have a few. Good morning. Y'all are rowdy today. I like it when you're rowdy.
We start drumming.
That's what happens. That's what happens. Our youth program, Mini Mystics. They have a name. Did you know they had a name? Mini Mystics is open to all youth. If you have a young person who would like to share in some playful, spiritually uplifting activities, please see Stephanie. We had a mass exodus there, and so it's exciting to see how we're growing. Are you looking for a way to contribute your gifts and talents to the Sunday service? Well, first you've got to know what your gifts and your talents are, right? If you don't know, ask somebody. They'll tell you what your gifts and your talents are. Really, seriously. Okay, so if you're looking for a way to kind of contribute, then we are needing readers for the centering statement that Amy just did and in the beginning of each service. This would require you to commit to reading the centering statement one Sunday per month. The reading usually takes about 3 minutes, and you can be emailed the reading in advance. Some of us OCDs will like to have it in advance to prepare. Please see Ryan before or after the service if you are interested in that. Leadership Council meeting is today, 12:45, right here at Wren Road. Deborah Champion will be facilitating a group meditation every third Sunday of the month from 1 to 2, which means that next Sunday, the 19th, we'll begin the sessions. Guided and silent meditation will be available at each session, open to the community, and all levels of experience are welcome. We will meet here at Wren Road. A love offering is appreciated but not required. New Member Recognition Sunday, February the 26th. Put it on your calendar. During the service, please join us as we welcome our new church family members. We've got some. And I'm really excited about that. Would like to let you know that we have received permission from the insurance company across the street so that you can park there if all spots here are filled in our lot. So just know that you can legally park over there. If you need a space, do it. The prayer chaplains, of course, are always available for your prayers, and if you have any prayer concerns that you would like them to be made aware of, you can send that request to uofmcprayerrequests@gmail.com. There's also a prayer box in the back of the room that if you have something today that you'd like to drop in there, all prayers our requests are welcome and are answered. All right, that's it.
All right. Are you ready to sing again? Yeah. Let's sing again. We're going to do our monthly mantra, and this is a song that really talks about who we are as a spiritual community. One as a spiritual community, and one as as the world at large. The chorus says, "We are one heart looking for answers. We are one soul finding our way in the dark. One dream we share together. We are all a part of the one heart." So let's all stand and sing it. There's a new church on the horizon, made of light, not of stone, calling out to all creation, you are not alone. Lions and lambs, brothers and sisters, best of friends, enemies, woman and man, losers and winners, they're all in you and me. We are one heart, looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way in the dark. One dream we share together. We are all a part of one heart. Out in the cold, there are faces hidden by the wind and rain. Hold out your hand, someone will take it and bring you home again. We are one heart, looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way in the dark. One dream we share together. We are all a part of one heart. Around the world tonight, the fires are burning, tears are falling from the sky, still the world keeps turning. We are one heart, looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way in the dark. One dream we share together. We are all a part. We are all a part. We are all a part of one heart.
That is such a beautiful song. I don't know where you found that, Ryan, but in your secret little bag of tricks.
I'll never tell.
We are one heart looking for answers. And before we slide into meditation this morning, I want us to take a moment to send the collective energy of our prayers to the people of Turkey and Syria. Sometimes it's hard to find answers that would cover every situation. We have events happen that are completely outside of our control. And then sometimes we have people in charge of things making decisions that seem to impede on our lives. Decisions that would restrict others and seem born out of hate or disrespect. And meanwhile, we are one heart looking for answers. And the only thing I can share with you is that there is a place of peace where you can go. There is a place within that transcends everything in this world. It's not a place to go where we don't have to care. It's the place we go to refuel our compassion and to fulfill whatever our purpose is here on earth in the midst of these things we don't understand. So I invite you now to close your eyes if you feel led. Whatever it takes to reduce the amount of visual attention you are giving to the outside world. And take a deep breath. Blow it out. And as your shoulders lower, let them stay there, just relaxed and lowered. Tell your belly to relax. It's our spiritual wisdom center, and sometimes it's in overload. It gets to relax in this space. Release the tension out of your ankles and your wrists. Let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. We intentionally relax so that our human stress does not impede the path into communion with our higher self. And in this space, we can take a moment to bask in nothing but peace and love. We can tend and nurture this peace center within us so that we are ready to go out into whatever the world brings as peace, as love, able to remain full of hope. Full of hope that the world will grow more peaceful and loving every day. as we nurture that energy within us. You are alone now in the Holy of Holies, the sacred space of your inner temple. With the higher God self that is the presence of your true being. Let us rest now there for a moment in the silence. In the silence. Thank you, God, for meeting us here in this space. Thank you for our growing awareness that you aren't meeting us here at all, but you were there all the time, waiting for us. Waiting for us to come home to a place of peace. Thank you for every act of compassion and peace and protection that you are sending to the people of Turkey and Syria. Those who are part of our one heart, searching for answers. We will continue to hold them in our hearts as they are healed and repaired and brought once again into a place of peace. We are so grateful. We are so grateful for our understanding that we can meet you in our heart space any time we wish. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we had a chants and mantras workshop here yesterday, and I told them that this was going to be a special service because we created a whole bunch of special energy in here.
Amen.
And they just got me right between the eyes with all of that. The weekend started on Friday night, going to the Nashville Ballet. Nikki is singing with the ballet this weekend in an incredibly special performance that reminded me on Friday that regardless of what is happening in the world, there are pockets of energy where people are really, really putting out protective, loving, honoring space for others. And it was wonderful to be in the cocoon of that on Friday night. And then yesterday to be in the cocoon of engaging in chanting and mantras and meditation with folks here at church. That was another cocoon. And this morning, and we need those. They're not escapes. They're not escapes. They're pit stops, right? They're fueling up for this world that we live in. So last week, it was the beginning of February. We talked about how February is the energy of purification, how that comes from the Roman festival of Februa, which was a purification festival. And I guess maybe that's why we have spring cleaning as well. It's like we're purifying. It's a purifying time of year. And at the end of the talk, I said something about the fact that I was talking about the idea that this purification is a way of making ready, right? Of making ready. And I closed by saying that the practice of purification makes ready for communion with the divine. It isn't necessary. It's just readying the ground. It isn't the awareness or the awakeness itself, the awakening itself. It's readying oneself for that moment. And I also said that this practice of purification makes ready for what comes next. I don't know if anybody noticed that at the end of the service. It was supposed to be a very subtle hint that I would talk about what comes next the next week. But I don't think I landed it. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about what comes next. This is energy that we live in a lot, isn't it? I mean, even sometimes when we're in the moment of a cocoon even, we think about, I wonder where we're going to go for lunch, right? We're constant, what comes next? I wonder when this will end, right? Something of that nature. We are a planning species, right? We're a planning species. We plan cities, and we plan systems, and we plan curricula, and we even plan vacations, right? We make a plan for everything. Now, I want you to know that even though I might talk about that in a way that makes you think, oh, she's going to lead us into a place of realizing we shouldn't plan everything out, there is no good or bad in any of this. Planning is a wonderful skill, perfectly wonderful skill. But I want to highlight and spend a little time today talking about how much we live in the energy of planning and thinking about what comes next. We start with children. We are so hardwired for this what comes next planning energy. It's probably part of the evolutionary process, right? As human beings, we evolved into we better be able to somewhat envision a future and be prepared for it, right? And so we start with children and we say things like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And really, if they were fully grown up in that moment, if they could have all of their maturity and wisdom in that moment, they would say, excuse me, but hanging on the limb of a tree right now is enough. Being right here is enough. I don't need to think about what I need to be when I grow up, right? What do you want to major in when you get to college? What do you want to do with your life? And a lot of times, children, of course, will respond with something like, I want to be an astronaut, right? Or I want to be a baseball player. Or I want to be a rock and roll singer, right? I don't think they say rock and roll singer anymore. That sounds very, very chubby checker or whatever. I know, right? They probably would say, I want to be a social media influencer. Right?
Well, now that's content creator.
content creator. They want to be a content creator. And it is a real job. As someone who dabbles in that arena just a little bit, I can tell you that even doing it a little bit takes a whole lot of work. So don't poo-poo them too much when they tell you that they want to be a content creator. When they say these things, though, when they say, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a baseball player, when they're young, we go, oh, that's so cute. That is so cute. You know what? We're going to give you an astronaut-themed birthday party, right? Or we're going to make little cupcakes that all look like baseballs. They're going to have the icing done just right because we think that's so cute. And then they get a little bit older and we start responding with, well, you know, that's all well and good, but you'd better have a backup plan. So we even plan for the plan not working, right? We better have a backup plan. That was the energy. I actually have been encouraged as someone who teaches on the college level. I've been encouraged in the last few years with an increasing number of students who will come and be art majors and be music majors. When I was heading off to college in 1492, it was the very first college. Columbus started it right there on. When I was heading off to college, it was you didn't major in music. Unless you were going to be, I went to Trevecca my first year, and unless you were going to be a minister of music, that was okay. Otherwise, no. And of course, that was so long ago that most women went to Trevecca to get an MRS degree, as we used to talk about back then. My mother had no idea I wasn't planning on that at all. So we often plan for the plan not working. You better do something that is wise. And so in doing so, I think we sometimes halt the germination of a seed that's going to produce a lot of flowers, right? Or we put it on hold, we delay it. And so we grow up and we get very serious. And we go to work every day and we check our planner to see what meetings we have to attend that day and what tasks we have to accomplish. Maybe one of those meetings is a planning meeting, right? Or a budget meeting, which is a planning meeting, right? All about the plan. What's our plan? How are we going to approach this? Maybe our boss asks us to chair a committee or lead a work group on a particular task, and even getting the work group started, we have to plan that out. How's the work group going to work? And then the work group can create the plan for whatever it is that we're supposed to do. And we live by this plan, some more successfully than others. Some people in here love having a plan. I like a plan. I do. Other folks are like, don't fence me in, right? I need to go through my life spontaneously, artistically, letting things happen as they may. But sometimes at various times, we step in and out of the plan. If we haven't lived with a plan for a while, sometimes the plan feels like safety. Oh, thank goodness somebody has an idea of what's going to happen, right? I can rest a little bit in that. And then maybe at a certain point, if we live in that plan for a long time, we go and we work for many, many years, we hit a point that we call a midlife crisis, right? Midlife crisis is another term for rejecting the plan. Shedding the plan, right? I'm tired of the plan, right? The plan is boring. I think it happened, by the way, this doesn't just have to happen at midlife, because I think it happened for me the very first time at 21. I'm pretty sure that I had that. There's not a lot of difference between a midlife crisis and young adult angst, because they both come from the energy of dissatisfaction, right? I'm dissatisfied with something. I like this plan, but I both need the plan, feel a need for the plan, and at the same time, I'm scared to death the plan's going to make me boring. The plan is going to make me miss something. The plan is not going to allow me to do something big and important. And I know there's something more. This plan, how could I have the same plan as everybody else? How could I follow the same path? Career guidance counselors at colleges will sit there and they'll have this nice little path laid out for you. And you look at it and you go, that's a path that's well worn. A lot of people have followed it. And somehow being something important or real in this world seems to imply that I will do something unique. And I will not just follow the same path. I'm going to do something important. I feel like I'm supposed to do something big. We want to stand out, and I think that too may be part of our evolutionary development. Because I think probably, I'm going to guess, I'm not a mathematician, I'm going to guess 87.3% of children have some burning desire to do something important with their life. It almost feels compelling, right? And our children, teenagers, young adults, there's this drive to do something really big with your life. We want to stand out. We had these saplings of dreams when we were kids that still poke us now and again to remind us of our earlier desires and our potential. But maybe it's possible that you felt this dream to be something big. You had this vision. You were going to be an astronaut. But then you made a different decision because maybe pursuing that dream asked for too big of a sacrifice, right? Well, I guess I need to move to LA to be on an award-winning television show and win an Emmy like Donald Glover, right? I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to move off there. I'm gonna have to make that sacrifice. Or I might need to move to Nashville, as so many people have done. It used to be a joke when I was waiting tables. I was like the only person when I was going to college waiting tables who wasn't trying to be a star in Nashville, right? Because that was the day job for songwriters, was waiting tables. Or maybe being a pro baseball player meant that I needed to work out a lot, and as much as I love baseball, I hate the gym. And it was just too big of a, I wasn't more than I wanted to pay. It was a price that was bigger than what I wanted to pay for this dream that I had. Or I wanted to be an astronaut, but science and math. I have a lot of students who come through and they come into my office for advising and they want to be a nurse. And they'll say, I want to be a nurse. And I say, well, that's great. And I tell them what their schedule is going to look like, and they say, oh, well, I don't like math and science. And what do I tell them, Margaret? What do I tell them? You don't want to be a nurse, right? You don't want to be a nurse. That's what being a nurse is. You got to take a lot of math and science. And so sometimes the price we have to pay is bigger than what we're willing to pay. Brad Pitt dropped out of college. You may know his story a little bit. He dropped out of college like just weeks before he was going to get his degree, like 3 or 4 weeks before graduation. Head off to LA with $300 in his pocket, would sleep in his car at night, worked all these odd jobs, including driving strippers to whatever their appointments were, and then he would get out and make sure that everybody stayed in line. He said it was really low energy work, and he didn't like being there. He wanted to get out of there as fast as possible. And yet, it was one of these strippers who introduced him to his first great acting coach, who helped get his first great break, which was boom, and it's all history from there, right? He was willing to make that kind of choice, and a lot of us wouldn't be. I don't know about you, but the idea of sleeping in my car is a little frightening, right? Not knowing, not having a plan, not knowing where I'm going to go. But he was willing to live in that mystery. The vast majority of us make different decisions, and those as well are honorable. Some of us, we like to romanticize that kind of devotion. But the truth is, some of us have made a decision to stay near our family or to be financially responsible. And that's not always just a decision of fear. Sometimes it's a very valid decision. Good for you. There ought to be an award show for the people who make those kinds of decisions, right? The people who say, no, you know what? I want kids and a family. And that's going to be the most important thing for me. So we're living in the plan, and we let go of the dream, and maybe we hit the midlife crisis or the 25-year-old angst. We're not sure how to deal with all this. And at this point, here come the dream weavers, right? Here come the dream weavers. These are the folks who know that we're all dreamers, and most of us have planned our way out of the dream, so they start selling purpose. They start selling purpose. Now, let me just tell you this. I have neither a pro nor a con feeling about Tony Robbins. I've had friends who follow him religiously. I've had others who think he's a quack. I haven't listened to him enough to know, and don't really care. He's not my guru, right? He's not mine. He's a perfect example, though, however, of this group of people who have come along. He said in an interview one time that if everyone is lost and one person has confidence, even if that person is completely wrong, everyone will follow them. Which may have told us more about his own business than he wanted us to know, right? He is one of the many prophets and teachers and guides of something that by most definitions has become its own religion. Self-help, positivity, dream pursuing, manifestation, purposeful living is a kind of religion that has sprung up in our modern era, and it has its prophets, and it has its gurus. It has a huge overlap with New Thought. It has edged into Christianity. It draws a lot from the ancient wisdom of Hinduism. It even trickles into business, right? And so it's become this new thought process. We have heard time and time again, many of us have been immersed in this religion. And we've heard time and time again the mantras, the scriptures, if you will, of this religion. So I think you could probably, I was going to just read some of these scriptures to you that I know you know, but I've decided I'm going to read the beginning, and you can tell me how they end, okay? This is like little children, all right? If life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Throw the right? It takes more muscles to frown. Yes. Life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. It's not the number of breaths you take, but the number of moments that take your breath away. The two greatest moments in the person's life are the day they are born and the day they... Ooh, y'all missed Sunday school that week. The two greatest days in a person's life are the day they're born and the day they find out why. Sing like no one is listening. Love like you've never been hurt. Dance like nobody's watching. If you can conceive it, you can achieve it. Shoot for the moon, even if you miss. You'll land among the stars. Yes. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. Everything happens. And my unitics, my long time unitics, thoughts held in mind reproduce after their kind. And here's the best one. Y'all are good. Y'all are like the saints of this religion. This is the best one of all. This kind of sums it all up right here. Is anybody else sick of live, laugh, love? Is it just me? So these are the scriptures. I mean, we shared them and we believed them. We were like, it was John 3:16 and we were at Bible memorization camp. And we memorized all of them. And we could spout them. And anything that came up, we had an answer to it. Right? We had something to say, and we'd better not disagree with them. Because along the way, a lot of us, and when I say us and we today, I mean the whole big movement. The whole big thing. A lot of us along the way became the language police. And anytime someone did say something negative, they said, affirm that 1,000 times, see what you get. It's almost like, not only do I have to feel bad because I got negative energy going on right now, but now you're going to blast me for it. And quite frankly, even though there is truth in all these, that's why they become trite. Sometimes they're not true. That's the paradox. Because, you know, just because something makes a nice little soundbite doesn't make it true. I have a colleague at work who, from the beginning of the pandemic, every meeting he would come into would say, Zoom will be our doom. I started calling him the Zoom Doom Prophet, right? And so finally, it was just this past week, just like on Monday, I was in a meeting with him. There were only 5 of us in there, so it wasn't like the whole campus had to hear me say this. But he said, Zoom will be our doom. And I said, you know, just because it rhymes doesn't make it true. And I think it's important for us to realize that, because the truth is, in the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take, but that's not really true. Because I bet you that there are some chances people did take that they regretted. And I bet you that there are some people who don't regret anything at all. So we only regret the chance. And I don't know that that's true. The energy behind it has a veracity, has a truthfulness. It gives us the energy of, don't miss go ahead, have some courage, take a chance. It's okay to risk something. But at the same time, to then put it in a nutshell and to encourage everyone, I can't tell you you have to take this risk. That's inside you, right? I might say you only regret the chances you didn't take. And here I am putting on my little influence to say, you better do this, and maybe you shouldn't have. And maybe somewhere inside, you knew it. These are the scriptures. Yesterday I was listening to NPR on my way home from the Chants and Mantras workshop, and there was a show, it's also a podcast called Hidden Brain. I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but Hidden Brain is I think it's kind of a cross between psychology and neuroscience, right, about the way the brain works. And they were talking about happiness. This is an area that has gotten a lot of scholarship in the last 15 or 20 years. A lot of folks have been doing work in happiness. And so there were two takeaways. I didn't get to listen to the whole show, but I got two takeaways from that. The first one was, we can't get to happiness by denying negative emotions. And that's what this planning and dreaming and visioning for our lives is all about. How do I live this happy life? We can't get to happiness by denying negative emotions, right? We all have them. This is part of the human experience. This is on the spectrum of what it means to be human. And those of us who lean toward optimism or who have been steeped in the scriptures of this new religion, we know the denying of emotions really well. We've done it. We've stiff-armed those negative emotions and held them away from us because we learned, just as Ryan had for the affirmations this morning, that what you focus on grows, and we know that that's true. We know that's true, so we say, well, I don't want this to grow, so I'm going to push it away. I'm going to deny it. But here's the thing. Let's say you feel angry, and you don't want to feel angry, and you don't want to focus on it and let it grow, but the anger exists. It is, right? We're human, we feel anger, and then we sometimes go into a kind of meta-emotion where we're now feeling bad because we feel bad, right? We get mad at ourselves because we're angry. We're sad about the fact that we're depressed, right? So there's not only the feeling, the experience that we're very humanly having that's very natural, but now we're adding to it this toxic layer of, I'm going to heap on you. I'm going to dump on you when you're down. It's kind of like that Buddhist sentiment, that pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And when we do that meta-emotion on top of it, we're already living through the pain. That's life. There are times when I would love to escape from a place where I have to hear about a Turkey or a Syria. When I have to hear about the latest thing that some state legislature has done. When I have to hear about who wants to rename what street, whatever. There are times when I want to escape from that. But the truth is, they make me feel bad. And it's okay for me to acknowledge, that makes me angry. That makes me sad, right? And I don't want to dump on top of myself by saying, you can't feel that way. Let's be all nice and positive all the way through it. When we do that, when we deny negative emotions, they get bigger because it is true that what you give your attention to grows. And I think a better way to say that is what you give your energy to grows. And denial is a toxic, big form of energy. It's sending a lot of energy in the direction. So then we're angry. We don't want to be angry. We deny it. It gets bigger. We don't know what to do with it. Right? Why is this not working? The second takeaway that I had was this. Happiness can seem more elusive the harder we chase it. We try to pursue it. And I think that those dream weavers who came along when we were losing our way and we were having our midlife crisis, sometimes that find your purpose, dream building, follow your star energy is a version of chasing happiness that gets exhausting. It can get really exhausting. By the way, I also think, and this is a whole other talk I'll have to give another time, that sometimes manifestation energy is a version of control. I need to control my life. I'm going to manifest it in this way. Now, these are paradoxes. At the same time, right? At the same time, claiming claiming the goodness of your life is beautiful. Remember, I'm not here to talk up or down either any one of these things. We're just exploring today, right? So I can imagine for my life big dreams, and my only limitations are in my mind. This is the mantra of this new religion. So I'm going to manifest this big life with all kinds of outstanding, amazing elements, and you just sit back and watch. It's going to happen. I have everything written down. I have a 5-year plan, and it's going to happen. It's going to be amazing, right? And I'm going to follow the scriptures of positivity. I'm going to meditate on manifestation. I'm going to create a vision for my life. Now, I want you to hear me. There's nothing wrong with any of that. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful exercise to get into. Hear this, though. Just make sure that it's feeding something inside more than it's trying to create something outside. As long as it's doing that, dream away. But these dreams that we get into where all we're trying to do is recreate our outside world, and it never happens and it never changes, and that's because we've denied and we've not paid attention to that internal process that we're working through, right? Does that mean you don't need to plan at all, right? Because the purpose within you is what is creating the plan for your life. No, of course you need to plan, but here's what we might want to keep in mind. Spirit's playing three-dimensional chess. Spock is spirit. So, I don't know. Star Trek did not invent the concept of three-dimensional chess. It was invented long before, but that kind of popularized it. And the idea here, I don't even know that there's an actual game with rules. Okay, there is. But nonetheless, the important point here is that we use this concept to talk about someone. It's a compliment. Right? Oh, he's playing three-dimensional chess. Often means he's seeing the whole issue in deeper layers than we are. We're playing in 2 dimensions, he's playing in 3. In other words, we say this as a compliment that someone is seeing the bigger picture, and spirit is playing 3-dimensional chess. You can have your plans in the 2-dimensional world, in the human world, but remember, you might want to be flexible because spirit's playing 3-dimensional chess, right? Trying to determine what the ancient religions had to say about purpose is a little bit challenging. It's somewhat, the way we think of it is somewhat of a modern concept. The ancient scriptures don't spend a lot of time in purpose talk, they spend a lot of time in making ready talk. So they spend a lot of time in the path to enlightenment and the path to salvation, because once you get there, they know they can stop talking because you got it covered then. I got a new book this week, which is going to be one of my favorite books. It's called Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, and Lao Tzu, The Parallel Sayings. And it's a fantastic book. It's got them in 4 little columns. It's really, really nice. He also uses a lot of the scriptures that were not canonized into the Bible as we know it. The Gospel of Thomas, the Dialogue of the Savior, the Gospel of Judas, things of that sort. So I was looking for something that matched, and this came as close as I could find. And I want to share these quotes with you. From the Gospel of Thomas, your salvation comes from being aware of what is already inside of you. If you are unaware, you will remain subject to death. Now, subject to death is we look at that and we go, whoa, you're going hard negative there, Jesus. But the truth is, one of the things that this book talks a lot about is the connections between Jesus and the Eastern wisdom traditions. Because Jesus would have known about Buddhism, by the way. Buddhism was well known in the ancient Judean world. Buddha predated Jesus by about 600 years. So he would have known about Buddhism. And so this reminds me of that Buddhist concept of escaping samsara, that cycle of death and rebirth. That is the goal. The moksha is to liberate you from the cycle of death and rebirth. And that salvation, finding the purpose, finding who you are to be in this life, is already inside of you. Looking at Krishna then, the Upanishads say the purpose of things in your life is not for you to love them, but to love the self in all things. Whatever it is we're trying to design for our lives, or we're trying to manifest or create in our lives, the things themselves are meaningless, really. If I wanted to manifest a huge mansion on the shores of Malibu, right, the mansion is meaningless. It really is. It might be lovely. I might throw great parties. But the mansion really is meaningless, because the only thing that matters is, can I fill this space with Spirit? Can I be in touch with the divine in this space? Right? And then we turn to Buddha, and he says, one will not find himself by seeking among transient things. It was one of my concerns for a time in the religion of positivity that there was a great deal of emphasis on the things we could acquire. A great deal of emphasis. We talked about prosperity in terms of money, right? And the truth of the matter is, that is never a path to enlightenment. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not here to judge anybody's different. We have a whole spectrum of attachment to money in this room, I'm sure, that goes all the way from one end to the other. Probably the farthest end, we don't have too many people in here that attached to it. But nonetheless, we know that that's not the path to enlightenment, that we seek inside of ourselves. And then turning to Lao Tzu, while the wise man may dress in rags, his heart holds the greatest of riches. It doesn't matter what we have outside of us, what kind of life we dream for ourselves. We can look at our life and we can say, I really wanted to be a great actress, and I never did that. I never took that chance. I didn't go off to New York. I never gave it a shot. I can spend time and energy of that, or I can sit here and go, my riches are in my heart. The riches and the achievements and the success of my life are in my heart. So the question that we started off with was, what comes next? We're planners. What comes next? What comes next for this spiritual community? What comes next for you? What comes next for me? And the answer is, I have no freaking idea. I don't have a clue. What comes next thinking takes us out of the present moment. And we need those plans. We're going to have a leadership council meeting this afternoon. We'll do a lot of what comes next kind of thinking. We'll be talking about plans, looking down the road. Nothing wrong with that. But hopefully, ideally, spiritual leadership is you remain rooted in the present moment and what is right in front of you. What comes next, what actually comes next, is part of the great spiritual mystery that is our path. How could we ever manifest the mystery? That's not ours to do. Wallace Huey is a spiritual teacher from Dublin, and he said to walk the spiritual path is to continually step out into the unknown. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm going to step out into it. So very quickly here, I'm going to give you 3 considerations for how to live with this idea. How to be a planner in a world and a spiritual person in a world that demands that you plan, but also be the spiritual person whose goal is on the awakening and the liberation. So I would say, number 1, plan but lightly. Right? Plan but lightly. Tread lightly on this earth. Yes, we got an idea of where we're going to go, and it can change at any moment. Here's our starting point. We're going to envision an ending point, but probably won't end up there. It's going to have all kinds of adjustments and changes along the way as we follow Spirit's larger plan, the plan that does not follow a chronological order. The plan does not look at this happens and then this happens, that this happens, because we live in the space-time continuum. Spirit lives in the holistic world where the plan for your life, the purpose that Spirit has for your life in this three-dimensional chess game is already unfolding, even if you have no idea what it is. It's in progress right now. It's in process right now. So plan that vacation, but be ready to eat the cost of those plane tickets. No, I'm kidding. Plan, but lightly. Secondly, dream, but awakened. Have a dream for your life. Have a vision for your life, but do so in an awakened state. My awakened state makes me that much clearer into who I am, what my purpose is, and therefore my dreams start to naturally align with that. I no longer dream dreams that don't align with that because I'm awake and I know myself and I know what I'm here for, right? And thirdly, be present, but be ready. So that dual place that we live in as spiritual beings is to be right here in this present moment, but to always be ready for what comes next. That's why we meditate and we pray. That's why we take the time to prepare the soil of the Spirit, right? Our ability to control what comes next is limited. Our ability to make ourselves ready for it is the work of our spiritual evolution. There were times in my life where trying to determine my purpose, because I was in the midst of this religion, and you were supposed to live your purpose. And I spent so many years saying, just tell me what it is. Can somebody just please tell me what it is? Right? And it got exhausting. And frankly, it was not the conversation I was ready for yet. I was trying to find my purpose before being awakened to the divine presence within me was like going to the airport to wait for my ship to come in, right? So I was totally out of whack. I knew my ship was going to come in, but I had to awaken to the divine presence within me first. Living the life that I have, ready for whatever comes, is exciting and invigorating. I have no idea how the dream's going to unfold. I have no idea what it's going to look like. No idea what the next 5 years are going to be. I'm just ready for them. And I'm going to stay ready. I'm going to stay invigorated. I'm going to stay prepared. I don't have to figure out the purpose. I don't have to figure out the dream. Rainier Maria Wilkie is a poet who wrote in a work called Letters to a Young Poet, if, when you wake up in the morning, you can think of nothing else but writing, then you are a writer. And I believe that when you become aligned with the Spirit, when you wake up in the morning, you don't have a question about how you're supposed to go through your day. You might not know everything's going to happen, but you know who you're going to be in it, right? You know what you're open to in it. And if you're not sure, that's okay. You keep working on the internal and working on the awakening. As I was working on this talk, a prayer came to me that I thought was just for me at first. But I decided to share it with you because I think it might sum this up pretty well. Spirit, I am ready for this day. Bring to me those experiences that fulfill the purpose you have for me. Dream for me a dream I can't even imagine. Help me to remember that where I am supposed to be, I am. And who I am supposed to be, I am. I stay ready for this day by being present in the awareness of you. I am ready for what comes next. Namaste.
And I know what happens next because I have the order of service right here. And what happens next is that we take just a couple of moments to slip into gratitude because we have so much to be thankful for. We can just take a look around at the people in this room and be thankful for the love that is in this room. We're thankful for the love that we have for this spiritual community. We are thankful that we can take this love out into our worlds in the coming week, and that this energy, this love, fuels us and gives us the strength to get through another day, another week, because we have each other. And we're eternally grateful for that. We are so grateful to be able to give back to this spiritual community through the time that we spend here, through the energy that we put into this spiritual community. And we are happy to give back in any way that we can. Here's a couple of ways right here. The PayPal code that's the QR code. The blue vase is in the back for your paper money. The automatic bank draft. Happy to receive all of that energy, that form of love that you can give back to us. And we are grateful. So let's all take just a moment and sing this quick prayer of gratitude. I am grateful for another day of living. Grateful for a new chance to forgive. to receive life's many blessings, and I'm grateful for the love I have to give. I am grateful for another day of living. I am grateful for a new chance to forgive. I'm grateful to receive life's many blessings, and I'm grateful for the love I have to give. And I'm grateful for the love I have to give. Let's take just a moment to welcome back our kids. Reverend Deb. She can't hear me. Come on in. All right, and let's all stand. And Sherry, will you lead us in the prayer for protection?
I will. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We let the love wash over us. We let the love wash over us. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let the peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. Let the peace wash over us. We let it be. Let the joy. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let the peace wash over us. We let it be. It all comes back to love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let the love wash over us. We let it be. Okay, this is yours. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. Watch me. We let it be. We do. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you back next Sunday at 11. Thanks for tuning in online. Bye, everybody.